And all right. So thank you for joining us today at JALT International 2020. Please welcome Chanleap, who will be presenting on PBL to foster students' intrinsic motivation. Okay, Chanleap, go ahead.
Thanks, Sam. So thanks everyone. Good morning from Cambodia. Thanks for coming. I'd like to introduce myself. Wait, do you see the, sorry, there's something here on my screen. Can you see my screen okay? Okay, cool. Yes. Anyway, so let me start by introducing myself. My name is Chanleap. I have a master's degree in educational leadership and management from University of Sydney. Currently, I'm working as a lead teacher at Australian Centre for Education, IDP Cambodia. My main roles include leading and managing educational projects as well as teaching English to second language learners. So my colleagues and I did an action research project on project-based learning to foster student intrinsic motivation. So in this presentation, I'm going to start with background information about the course and also the student, then talk about theoretical framework, action research question, then project plan, method, finding, reflection, before I share my revised method and project plan moving forward. So for the course content, these English classes offer in general English program. It will take 45 hours over 10 weeks to complete. These are part-time courses. The number of students per class size between 18 to 22 max. And we started this action research in term 1 2020 before COVID-19. We chose the two GP5 pre-intermediate level classes and 4 GP7 classes intermediate level. So about my students, our students, the one took part in this course are between the age of 14 to 25. They're from middle class family and they are my native speakers. They had the at least 1 year English learning experience. Often they study with different classmates and teacher here, like every term. So this is kind of the setup here. So what's more about my student? Like, well, whenever we ask them, like at the beginning of the class, first day, ask them to do like self-introduction. One of the questions that came up would be like, why did you choose English? So few students say it's interesting, fun, and enjoyable. However, a lot of students say that, well, I choose English because it's international language. I want to be able to speak English. Also, I want to go to good university. That's why I choose English. By the way, material we use in the university here mostly in English. And the third most common answer was like, I wanted to get a good job in the future. That's why I chose English. So these reasons are identified as external forces based on motivational theory. So in self-determination theory by Ryan and Deci, in order to be intrinsically motivated, these three psychological needs, like including competent, autonomy, and relatedness, need to be met. So as a teacher, what can we do to support student to improve student competence? So here are the suggested techniques from this empirical research. So the technique to improve competence include having clear learning objective, basically having clear expectation on your student or help them set up clear learning goals. Also using direct instruction, like giving example, like modeling, scaffolding, breaking down into step by step before you let them do like guided practice, and then moving on to individual practice. And then here we have, we also have like providing constructive feedback, especially the positive one to student that will help improve their competence. And this one, autonomous supportive teaching technique. So what can we do? Like giving students structured choices that will help them getting involved in like decision-making process. Also giving them opportunity to voice their opinions and thoughts. This kind of give them the control and take ownership. And the relatedness-supportive teaching technique, we have like collaborative teaching technique like think, pair, share activity, also peer feedback. So this technique really helpful because and really effective to improve student motivation, also student learning outcomes based on this research. So what's more, if you are intrinsically motivated, hundreds of research found that there's an increase in your creativity, problem solving, performance, positive emotions, also physical and psychological needs. In addition to this, another motivational related theory, we have by Carroll, self theory and self mindset. So this refer to like the belief about your intelligence and how you would react to the challenging situation or situation. So if you have like a fixed mindset, you believe that your intelligence or your ability cannot be improved no matter what. However, if you have like a growth mindset, you believe that your intelligence can be improved if you have like clear goals, effort, and you put in effort, and then also have effective strategies. So knowing that this technique important to improve my student motivation, I decided to incorporate this technique into my class. This brings me to my research question: to what extent will PBL lesson increase engagement in English classes? And here's the reason why incorporating PBL into English classes to foster student motivation. So based on research study by Vogel et al. 2011, by incorporating the two instructional models, one from constructivist and another one from like cognitive load theory, using direct instruction. Using these two can help improve student learning and like the effective and profound learning. Also help improve not only lower thinking skill, but also higher order thinking skill, like problem solving skill, critical thinking skills. So this is what I include in my first circle project plan. So basically, students are asked to choose a problem in their community, and then they work in group to come up with a solution by themselves, not copying from others. And then they're supposed to implement it and then report back or present it to the class. So there will be like a group presentation at the end showing their project implementation, what they have done. So here's my project plan. I hyperlink everything so you can have a look here. So this is the detailed project plan. And so here's the output. So it will take like 7 hours to complete this project. We'll start in week 3 of the term because it will save us from student changing classes and stuff like that. So I break it down into like orientation, project outcome, procedure, example, first draft, and then final draft, and help them prepare for the presentation. Then we have the last one here. Last step is to present. Student has to present their project. These are the materials I use. Again, these are hyperlink. You can click on it. I'll share this later. So let's look at the techniques, very important, I think, for the presentation. So these are the techniques that I employ in my class, that we are employed in our class. So providing structured choices. So basically students are provided a list of issues to choose. And then scaffolding, meaning I break it down into step by step as I explained it to you earlier, starting from project orientation to the last step, which is presenting their topic. And then students are given like example of the project plan, what's look like. So this is the project plan exemplar. Also goal setting, they will be getting involved into goal setting and activity like sketching a tree as a learner. As you can see here, defining hopes, expectation, what the expectation on them and the challenges they might face as a learner. And that here is the sketching tree as a group, like the group project, like what challenges they might face and what do they have, what hope or what do they want to achieve and the expectation. Back to the activities. Also providing feedback, peer feedback and whole class feedback will be used, and collaborative teaching group, like, collaborative teaching technique like think patient group work. So here's my data collection and analysis methods. I use qualitative data collection method, teaching journals, also analysis observation notes. How do I collect data? Well, I collected notes and comments from the 4 teachers, including me. And then I categorize into themes using a matrix and count the comments for each technique activity. So let's have a look at the finding. To what extent, so let's just revisit the research question again. To what extent will PBL lesson increase engagement in English classes? So here's what we found. For scaffolding activity, a lot of students showed interest and engagement from the first to the last step. However, for those group who like working student, also university student, they seem to be less engaged, interested. However, they fully participate to get that project done. For providing structured choices, it's a success. I think it helped. Like we can see that they show a lot of interest and engagement. For modeling, as you can see the example earlier of the project plan, too many words. So it's reported that for lower level classes, it's too challenging for them to understand the language used in there. However, for the higher level class, it's challenging enough, although 1 or 2 groups say it's too difficult to understand. Moving on to sketching a tree as a learner and a group. So we found that students really interested and engaged, and it's challenging enough for the two for this activity. However, if you look at the lower level class, it's too challenging to identify like that goal as a learner. So if they do it like alone, they find it really hard. Some of them not even know what they want to do and what the expectation on them. However, for challenge for like experienced learner, it's challenging enough, and they show high interest and engagement. However, so if you look at sketching a tree as a group, for lower level classes, they find it challenging enough because I guess they get the support from the other group members. And so for modeling example for a presentation slide, so they provided like the example how it looks like. A lot of them show interest, engagement, and however, if you look at the creativity level, it seems that by looking at that exemplar, it kind of shaped how they prepare their slide. A lot of them didn't really show their creativity, although some of them show for 2 different levels, for 2 different classes. And if you look at problem solving, again, really low. I don't know, maybe the effect of looking at the exemplar, or maybe something else. We didn't really go into depth. However, there's one group say that one group show like their problem solving skill is a little bit higher than other. Moving on to providing feedback. Of course, in the lower level classes, they're not really capable to do that. And for the higher level classes, the novice learner find it really struggling to provide feedback to teacher or to their peer. For collaborative teaching, it works effectively to build a relationship with students for the 2 classes, 2 level. Although for those who working student and university student, it didn't really help build a sense of belonging. So this is my reflection. As you can see from the finding earlier, it does help improve the class participation and engagement, contributing to fostering the intrinsic motivation. Although the issue here but some material I showed earlier are not really suitable for novice learner or lower level classes due to the limited English proficiency. Also, some groups show less creativity and problem solving skill because of those teachers who are not really knowledgeable enough about self theory, like how they support students, how they nurture like growth mindset, like what have like basically they're not really aware of that. The one that show creativity and problem solving only from my class. And some group that dominated by undergrad and working student, they didn't really participate, they were not that interested even though they participate. So for limitation, I collected data based on one source of information, even though data are triangulated by different researchers, still this is not supposed to be generalized based on one context in Cambodia. So for my revised methods and for data collection and analysis, I would like to do mixed method the next round based on not only teaching journal or observation note, but questionnaires and feedback using Kahoot and Mentimeter. We are not, as a teacher here, we're not allowed to use the kind of interview style or like basically they not allow us to do this. So I think the whole class feedback would help to look at the, to collect data from different sources. Also, I'll use the mixed method for data analysis. So here's my revised plan. I also put these here in the column here, online tools and activities to be used. And the one in red, that means that the revised plan, so 2 version or example will be used and the right peer feedback form because it seemed to be challenging for those students for some group. So here, if you have a look at online tools and activity to be employed, I would use Google Classroom as LMS, and I would record a video using screencast. Also, this video will be posted, the material and video will be posted in GC. Google Docs will be used for giving whole class feedback or peer feedback, Mentimeter for feedback, as I mentioned earlier, and Zoom for group presentation. So that's it from my presentation. Thank you so much. If you have any question, please let me know. And also, you can also email me as well. So that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So can everybody give a round of applause if you want to unmute yourselves? Thank you very much, Chanleap.
Thank you.